If you're a designer right now, you're probably being told you need to learn 50 new AI tools or you'll be irrelevant by next year. I was in that place too. Stressful, exhausting, and honestly, most of it turned out to be noise. So here's what I actually use. 7 tools. I've been running my business with these for a while now. They made me close to $10,000 last month. And I think they can help you too. I run a design studio here in Vienna. I build websites for clients, mostly in the $5,000 to $10,000 range per project. I've been doing this for a few years now, and over time I've tested honestly too many tools. I've wasted money on subscriptions I've used twice. I've rebuilt my workflow more times than I'd like to admit. But at some point, things clicked. I stopped chasing new tools and started asking a different question. Does this actually help me make money, or does it just feel productive? What's left are these 7. And the way I've organized them is simple. The first few help you win projects, the middle ones help you deliver them, and the last one helps you run the whole thing. So let's get into it. First up, Eagle. And I know this one sounds a little bit boring. It's a file organization tool, but hear me out because this is the reason my clients say yes faster than they used to. Before Eagle, my inspiration was scattered. Screenshots in random folders, bookmarks I'd never find again, Pinterest boards I forgot existed. Now everything lives in one place. References, logo designs, UI patterns, competitor screenshots, mood boards. It's like the dream, all tagged and searchable. But here's why this matters for making money. When I jump on a discovery call with a potential client, I can pull up a mood board in minutes and I can show them here's the direction I'm thinking before I've even sent a proposal. That speed and preparation is what separates a $2,000 quote from a $10,000 quote. Clients pay more when they trust your taste, and Eagle is how I make my taste visible. Second tool, and this one might or might not surprise you, is Claude. I'm not talking about using AI to design for me, I'm talking about the stuff that used to eat up half my project time and now takes minutes. For example, website copy. I used to stare at a blank page trying to write headlines for a client's landing page, or I'd wait days for them to send me the content that never came. Now I just feed Claude the client's brand voice, their audience, what they sell, and I get solid first draft copy I can later refine. That alone saves me hours per project. But the real benefit here is strategy. Before I even open up my design tool, I use Claude to brainstorm the entire site structure. I just describe the client's business, their goals, who their customers are, and I'll get back a full page structure with sections, hierarchy, messaging flow. And I'm sure you know this, but it's like having a strategist on a team without the overhead. And just having someone to think with, something that pushes back and challenges your assumptions, that's the part not a lot of people talk about. So the point here is this: the faster you get past the blank page, the more projects you can take on. Now before I get to tool number 3, I should mention, tool number 5 on this list is the one I almost didn't include. Not because it's bad, but because I know some of you are going to have maybe strong opinions about it. I had those same opinions, but the numbers changed my mind, so stick around for that one. Alright, tool 3, Screen Studio. This one is deceptively simple, but it's changed how I close projects. Every proposal I send now includes a short video walkthrough, not a loom with my face in the corner rambling for 10 minutes, but just a clean, polished screen recording where I walk through their current site, explain what I changed, and show quick references of where we could take it. Takes maybe 50 minutes to record, and the conversion rate on proposals that include a video versus ones that don't, it's not even close. Think about it for a second. Most designers send a PDF and hope for the best. You send a video where the client can hear your voice, see you thinking, and feel like you already started working on the project. That's just how you win. Tool number 4, Reloom. If you build websites for clients and you're still wireframing from scratch every single time, you need to stop, man. Reloom gives you a library of wireframe components and full page structures that you can drag and drop, customize, but the real power move is their AI site builder. You describe the project and it then generates a full sitemap and also wireframe with copy that you can later refine. I used to spend 1 to 2 days on wireframes and sitemap planning. Now it just takes me a few hours, and the time I save doesn't just disappear. It goes directly into the design and the details, which is the part the client actually cares about and the part I actually enjoy. The math here is simple. If you can cut your project time by 30 to 40% without cutting quality, you can either take on more projects or you spend the time making each project better. In the end, both of those mean more money for you. Alright, tool number 5, Framer. And I know some of you just tensed up a little bit because this is a Webflow channel from the beginning. I still use Webflow, you'll see it at number 6 on the list, but I need to talk about Framer because it genuinely changed how I think about certain projects. Some websites are visual first, the client doesn't need a super complex CMS or enterprise level architecture. They need something that looks incredible, feels alive, and ships fast. A portfolio, a launch page for a startup, a brand site where the design is the product. That's where Framer lives. And the experience of actually building in it, This is the part that's hard to explain until you try it. You open Framer and it's just a canvas, an infinite canvas. If you've ever used Figma, you already know how this works. There's no moment where you stop designing and start building, you're just designing. And the thing you're designing is the live site. Compare that to Webflow, and they say this with love, where opening the designer sometimes feels like stepping into a construction zone. You've got panels everywhere, class structures to manage, layout logic to think through. That power is amazing for complex builds for sure, but for a visual first project, it's overhead you don't really need. What sold me on Framer specifically, the animations are instant, you add scroll effects, page transitions, hover states, and they just work. No custom code, no interaction panel, rabbit holes. The typography options are genuinely great as well, and the collaboration features mean I can just share a project with a client and I can leave comments directly on the canvas. I put my Framer link in the description if you want to try it yourself. Tool 6, Webflow. And after everything I just said about Framer, I want to be very clear about where Webflow sits in my business. It's where the serious builds happen. When a client needs scale, a large marketing site with dozens of pages, CMS collections, localizations, client-managed content, that's Webflow. No question, the depth of what you can build is unmatched, and for those projects, that construction zone I just mentioned is actually exactly what you need. The complexity is the feature. Framer is visual first, Webflow is systems first, and one isn't better than the other. They are for different jobs, and honestly, knowing when to use which one is a skill in itself. A lot of designers pick a side and fight about it online, but the ones making the most money just use both depending on the project. If you're watching this and Webflow is your main tool, keep going deeper. That complexity is your mode. Not everyone can build what you can build. That's exactly why clients pay a premium for it. Last one, and this isn't a design tool at all, it's Notion. And honestly, this might be the most underrated tool on the list because it's the one that turned my freelance work into an actual business. Everything runs through Notion: client pipeline, project tracking, meeting notes. I use the AI features to summarize client calls, so never miss a detail. It's all templated and systematized. Here's why this matters so much. The biggest bottleneck for most designers isn't the skill or even finding clients, it's the operations. You spend half your time on admin, chasing invoices, forgetting what was discussed in the call, reinventing your process for every single new project. And that's exactly the stuff that burns you out and keeps your income stuck for real. I actually built out an entire client system in Notion, and if that's something you'd find useful, I'll leave a link in the description. When your operations are clean, you can take on more projects without working more hours, and that's the difference between the freelancer and the real business. Take it from me because I've been there myself.